Chess can be all about small margins. Sometimes, someone will play extremely well throughout a whole game, but the result will be based on one single decision. In this round, I was facing woman grandmaster Alicja Sliwicka. She was from Poland and had a rating of 2344. Typically, I'm scared of women grandmasters because they're obviously really good at chess. But I actually beat this girl in a classical game approximately a year ago, so I was hoping that she would feel a little extra pressure because of that. Before the game, I was honestly just thinking about my previous game and looking at the camera, I guess, and waiting around a little bit, waiting for the arbiter to say that we should start the clocks. I've seen a lot of people ask Anna, why haven't you been talking to your opponents? But when you're playing a tournament as important as round 6 of the Women's European Blitz Chess Championship, you are very focused before the round. There is no time to think about anything else or to small talk with your opponent. That you do more in casual situations or tournaments. But this was dead serious. So I was thinking about what opening it would become, and I was thinking that probably she would play a Benko, and we shook hands and I played d4. She went knight f6, I went c4, c5, and it did indeed become a Benko. I kind of had a vague memory that that was what she had played last year when I faced her. So I took the pawn and I decided to go for my kind of tricky line. But she played g6, I went e4, and I honestly always feel like I get a fantastic position. When I play this, I will never understand why people play this with black. I know it's just a preference thing, but I would just never do it because white is a pawn up. You have all the space in the world, and everything that black is going to try to do is regain that queenside pawn. And I'm not saying it's very bad. It's a very playable opening for black, but I've just never really seen why you would put yourself in this situation. Anyways, I played h3. The idea was that I didn't want her to go knight g4 and knight e5, getting those two knights to become really strong in the center. So she spent a little bit of time considering and played the move queen a5, which in the moment I didn't really understand how that could work because yeah, my bishop is on that same diagonal. So I was trying to find something, but I couldn't. And so I thought, you know what, Anna, let's just develop. I kind of had nightmares from my previous game where me not developing early on led to me getting pretty much checkmated out of the opening. So I just thought, okay, let's go ahead and make sure that we're safe. She took my pawn on b5, and the idea of going bishop d3 was that I wanted to keep my e4 pawn protected. And so now I took with the knight, threatening the queen, keeping everything protected. And after she moved the queen, I decided to castle. Up until now, I was very happy with my position. I felt like this had turned out great. I had no weaknesses, and I wasn't really sure what her plan was. She played bishop a6 to threaten to maybe take and then put a bit of pressure on my central pawn. And now I just thought that I need to develop my queen and my rooks, the only pieces that I don't really have active anymore. So I was thinking, where do I place my queen? Do I place it on c2 or on e2? I decided to go queen e2 because I thought it was just a little bit extra protected, and also here there would be no rook going to the c file, annoying my queen at a certain point maybe. We almost had the same amount of time, and she played rook b8. I pretty quickly played bishop c3, just activating my bishop, and now soon dreaming of getting my rooks into play. I was really feeling myself in this moment, and I thought this is the best kind of opening I can get out of. Let's go, Anna. Like, I was giving myself a mental hype talk, which I think you should in chess. As long as it doesn't distract you, but I try to do that sometimes. Time was ticking, and she played the move knight e8 to offer a trade of bishops and try to find a place to reroute this knight. I play the move e5, which I thought was a great move, opening up the e file for my queen. Apparently it's not that great of a move, but I really thought it was in the moment, because I thought now the e7 pawn is going to be really weak. So it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, this was a blitz game. We only had 3 minutes on the clock, so the most important thing right now was to be active and have a plan. We traded off everything. I had 30 seconds more on the clock. My piece dropped and I put them all together. And now she played rook b7, simply defending the pawn. Here I started getting really excited, and I honestly think I should have gone something like king h1, f4, f5 and just attacked the king. But I started really feeling myself here and got really excited, and well, you're gonna see what happened. Looking back at this, I kind of want to scream at myself to just make a move at this point. Why is my clock running down? Anna, make a move. Okay, so I played rook e1, which was a completely fine move. Simply developing the rook, putting some extra pressure on that pawn. And now she played rook d8 to attack my d5 pawn. Now, here I realized that her idea might be to just go knight e6 and try to get her knight into some activity. I really think I should just have played a little bit more calmly here, but Anna, Cramling and calm are not two words that go in the same sentence. And obviously I wanted to try to find something really cool that would be a great tactic. So I spent some time thinking here and was really getting excited by the move that I had seen. And so I played the move d6, which gets a double question mark. The idea of this was actually to go a5, and to be fair, when she took it with the knight, which was a very natural move to do, it was the move I was expecting her to do, it was actually not such a bad move what I did. So she moved her queen, and now I started thinking, because somehow I had kind of missed that her queen could go to c6. I thought her queen had to go to a7. I'm not really sure why, but I took on d6, which was the best move. And she took back with the queen. And so I saw my time running down, and it was now equal material. I traded off the bishops, and after queen takes, I played a move that I'm not really sure why I did. Like here I should just take the pawn on c5, but I kind of missed that it was hanging, and as soon as I played rook d1, I got really upset that I hadn't taken the pawn on c5, because I realized that she could now defend it, and now I was upset that I hadn't taken it. So if I would have gone queen takes c5, that would have been a lot easier, but I didn't. My time was ticking down, and I played the move rook e3 to try to activate my rook, but I was now losing a pawn, and she was completely starting to dominate this position. So I was now pawn down. There was no disaster, as I did have some active rooks, but obviously going from being a pawn up to pawn down is not ideal. So my queen went back. I started getting a little bit more into a defensive mode, and I thought, okay, Anna, let's just try to get a draw here. Let's just try to make it as difficult for her as possible. We both have little time. She played rook b8. I simply defended my pawn. I thought I can't lose another pawn. She went h5. I went rook c3. I saw that the c5 pawn had potential of becoming weak, so now my whole idea became to attack it. I started attacking it as much as I could. She started defending it. I started attacking with all my pieces. She defended once again. I went queen g5. I was trying to make some complicated moves. She went queen f6, trying to trade. I obviously did not want to trade. Here, I went rook c4. I didn't want to give up any pawn. I was blitzing all of these moves out. And here I realized that she had actually blundered a pawn, as after check I could finally take the c5 pawn, and now I felt like I was back in the game. I kind of moved my glasses to showcase the fact that I was confident now, and I think my whole posture shows that, but I was now confident. I went up with my king. She checked me again. I went back. Now she had less than 10 seconds. She played rook a7. I just had to keep my whole position together. Here I thought I had blundered a rook, but I realized that I hadn't. which was just so lucky. She went back, checked me. I went back. I had realized now that it didn't work. I traded some pieces. Only had 5 seconds on the clock. I started pushing my B pawn. I had 1 second, went rook b2. She instantly played. I went queen c4. She went queen b6. I went g3. I wanted to have some extra space for my king. She only had 4 seconds on the clock. I moved my king up. She checked me. And here, without thinking, I went queen f1, king f1. And she checkmated me in one move. And it was the most abrupt ending of all time. If I had just gone f3 a few moves earlier, this game would probably have become a draw. And after all those moves, after literally 50 moves, I got checkmated. And I was so sad because I just thought, you know what, Anna, you had that. Like, why did you go king f1? And I think that just showcases that chess can be pretty brutal sometimes, even though it's our favorite game, or it's at least my favorite game. Let me know if chess is your favorite game too. Anyways, there was no time to be sad about this because a comeback had to be made, and soon round 7 was about to start.